This is a story that one subscriber has asked me to do time and time again, and I promised I would do it. Today, let's talk about how Stone Temple Pilots, during the peak of their popularity in the mid-90s, almost replaced Scott Weiland, but instead, 3/4 of the band would form a new group called Talk Show. Stay tuned for the full story. Talk Show is a band that actually dated back to 1995 when the members of Stone Temple Pilots minus Scott Weiland started writing music with 10-inch Men singer Dave Coutts. Coutts' relationship with the members of STP dated back to the 80s when he first met bassist Robert DeLeo in Huntington Beach. According to an interview the singer gave to Alternative Nation, STP hadn't yet existed at this point in time, but Robert was in a band with Scott Weiland called Swing. Coutts would tell the outlet, "Swing opened for us. At the time, Dean DeLeo and Eric Kretz were not part of the band. I wish I could say they impressed me, but I don't remember much, except Scott was wearing sunglasses while he sang," he'd say. Prior to hooking up with the members of STP, Coutts' band 10-inch Men had some success during their decade-long run, signing to a label and putting out numerous releases, while also appearing on the film soundtrack for the movie Hellraiser. According to Coutts, the band disbanded after getting an offer to open for Bon Jovi in Europe in 1993. According to the singer, the opening slot would have cost his record label $23,000, and the company was more interested in putting that money into a Yes comeback album, so they broke up. As 10-inch Men folded in 1993, Stone Temple Pilots was one of the hottest new bands on the scene, thanks to the success of their debut album Core. While it was loathed by critics, radio, MTV, and the general public seemed to love the band. STP further raised their profile with 1994's Purple. While the band had a lot to celebrate, STP singer Scott Weiland would dive deeper into drug addiction, which hampered the band's productivity in the subsequent years. According to Coutts, who would tell Alternative Nation, "1 year after 10-inch Men broke up, I was contacted by STP's manager Steve Stewart. He asked if I was interested in fronting the band. Yes, it overlapped with some of their tour dates looking back. I am sure I was going to be their plan B, or maybe just a thing to get Scott sober," he'd say. After meeting with the guys from STP in 1994, preparations were made to fire Scott from the band. Coutts would record a demo with the members of STP in San Diego, a song titled Hide. But with Scott still in the band, members Robert and Dean DeLeo started compartmentalizing their material that they had written. They had one group of songs they thought Scott could sing, and another group of songs for Dave. Eventually, the members of STP decided to keep Weiland in the band, but following the release of their album 1996's Tiny Music Songs from the Vatican Gift Shop, STP had to cancel tours due to Scott's debilitating drug addiction. This forced STP to take a break, and while Weiland went off and worked on a solo record and went to rehab, the remaining members of the band rejoined Coutts and formed the group Talk Show, and that song Hide that they'd previously worked on would resurface. According to Coutts' Alternative Nation interview, the band name Talk Show came from guitarist Dean DeLeo, who thought everyone in the press was talking about the situation in STP with Scott Weiland. According to the same interview, Dave claimed he suggested the name 1459, 1 second short of 15 minutes, but the band didn't like it. But someone from the band's label Atlantic passed it on to Sugar Ray, who used it as the name of their third record, which happened to go quadruple platinum. Talk Show would release their self-titled debut album in September of 1997. It's important to note that Stone Temple Pilots, Talk Show, and Scott Weiland were all signed to Atlantic Records, and even though behind the scenes the label wasn't happy about the situation, they decided to humor the members of STP and publicly talked up the releases from Talk Show and Scott Weiland's solo record, 12 Bar Blues. Coutts would recount a story of how when they were mixing Talk Show's debut album, a rep from Atlantic came in to listen to the tracks and point-blank asked Dean DeLeo when he was going to reunite with Weiland. It was obvious where the label's head was at that point in time. Since Scott Weiland wrote the lyrics in Stone Temple Pilots, Talk Show offered the remaining members of the band a chance to flex their creative muscle, with guitarist Dean DeLeo telling Billboard in 1997, "Scott had a hard time singing our lyrics and we really respected that, but it's amazing how much more of a song you can take on when you're writing the entire thing. It's really like, wow, this is like my little baby here, as opposed to bringing the music and melody and having someone else's words." Talk Show employed more pop overtones, and frontman Dave Coutts' vocals drew comparisons to Freddie Mercury and John Lennon. The group's lone album would win praise from critics, and the single Hello Hello would chart at number 10 on the mainstream rock charts. The band even scored some huge touring offers, opening for Foo Fighters and Aerosmith. But despite all this, the album was a commercial flop in the eyes of the label. The record would peak at number 131 on the Billboard 200 charts, selling a total of about 55,000 copies. Meanwhile, Scott Weiland's solo record 12 Bar Blues also proved to be a commercial disappointment. Coutts would eventually leave Talk Show while the remaining members would reconcile with Weiland and worked on STP's next record, number 4. Everything seemed to work out perfectly for the label, who saw their prime rock act reunite. Coutts would give an interview to Blast Echo in 2016 where he slammed his former bandmates, saying that while he considers the members of STP to be, and I quote, incredible musicians, he wasn't a fan of guitarist Dean DeLeo, calling him a snob, going on to reveal, I can understand why Weiland got high. However, in the same interview, Coutts would go on to reveal that he has somewhat of a relationship with bassist Robert DeLeo, talking to him as recently as 2016. And 2 years after that interview, Coutts would be more complimentary towards the current incarnation of Stone Temple Pilots, fronted by Jeff Gutt, saying, I think he's great, I'm digging the new recordings too. Coutts, for his part, would end up settling down in Long Beach, California, having kids, and he now works outside of the music industry at a job he prefers not to disclose, while still occasionally dipping his toe in writing new music. That does it for today's video, guys. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like button and subscribe, and we'll see you again on Rock and Roll True Stories. Take care.